my final thoughts on carnivore. I think I might be coming around. I don't know. I think it might be coming around. I think the only thing that I'm like missing a lot is the texture of certain foods like apples, sauerkraut, the like nice crunchy texture. So I might try a few things in the coming week to add that texture in, but so far I feel great and I haven't had any like horrible cravings. I haven't had any headaches. I haven't had any body cramping or anything like that. I've been sleeping really well at night. So yeah, I think I'll probably end up going longer than the 30 days and I feel good. I haven't had any like significant change to my body, which I'm a little disappointed about. I thought I was gonna like notice a huge change right away. Okay, so today is a little over 3 weeks on carnivore. And here are a couple things that I have noticed in the last probably week that are a little bit bothersome to me, besides not being able to eat with my family. One of the things that I've noticed in the last week being on carnivore is one, my vacation was not as enjoyable. I wasn't able to, gather around with everybody and eat the same meal. I felt like it was almost a burden to be doing this sort of diet while trying to vacation with friends and family. Also timing the meals. I'm trying to be very strict about seasonings and all of that kind of thing that is in like packaged meat. So I can't eat the jerky right now. I can't have like the different types of sausages that are prepackaged because they all are seasoned with other things. So I think that carnivore is unless you are like needing it medically to help you in some way, shape, or form, I don't think that it would be very enjoyable to do while on vacation. One of the other things that I have noticed while being on carnivore is that my sense of smell is very heightened. For the past couple weeks, I noticed it like right away, but I thought maybe like it was just my body being weird we're kind of been in a transition from like synthetic smells to regular smells, but it wasn't just like the smell of everything around me. It was specifically food smells. So after my family would eat their dinner, I would smell their breath I would smell the breath. And like after broccoli, it was like, I didn't even want to be around them because all I could smell was that broccoli smell. And it was very gross to me. And so I think that my sense of smell being heightened is something that I don't care. I don't want to live with that. I don't want to be trying to like step away from people when they're talking to me. I don't want to have to like cover my face when they're cooking food because it feels very overwhelming. I'm already a very sensitive person when it comes to noise, and I think I just get very overwhelmed easily. And so adding a sensitive nose on top of having sensitive ears and like being touched out and all of those kinds of things is just too much for me. So I will be glad if it dulls it by adding food back in. As far as the weight goes, I still haven't lost any weight, but I will say I think as far as the scale goes, I haven't lost any weight. But as far as like my body composition, my muscles feel firmer. So I think it's just the amount of protein that I'm eating that is helping me with that. Like when I'm at the gym, I don't feel like I'm getting super exhausted, although I have noticed my heart rate gets higher quicker and then it recovers quicker. So I'm not sure what that means, if it's just because I'm going to the gym more often or what, but I have not lost any physical pounds on the scale. I have noticed that coffee isn't as enjoyable to me without cream in it, which is hard because I really have always enjoyed black coffee. That's what I like to drink in the morning when I wake up. And now it just doesn't have the same, taste. It doesn't taste as good as it used to. Today is day 24 on the carnivore diet, and I can honestly say that I am really feeling the want and the need to have carbohydrates. I have not had a very difficult time up until this week on the carnivore diet, but until now I've been doing really good on the carnivore. I've been making sure that I get enough calories in. I've been making sure that I get enough fats, and I found a really sweet balance with that. And so I haven't noticed a whole lot of negative side effects, and I've been having a lot of questions about how I'm feeling, and so I thought I would try and answer those for you guys today. So this week has been my hardest week. I am on day 24, and I believe it's because it is the week before my menstrual cycle. So for the guys tuning in, you can skip ahead a little bit. But in my experience, we have two hormones that are dropping and one hormone that's trying to produce and get really high. And in order to produce that third hormone, our body likes to have carbohydrates. Most females will start to crave sugar or chocolate or something like that during the week before their period. They tend to get super moody and all of that if they don't have that. So I found, especially the week before, I already get pretty moody, but yesterday and today has been a very, when I say very, I feel like my insides are going to just feel like a volcano and I'm just going to erupt. And I am contributing that to the carnivore diet because that's the only thing that has changed in my life, is not eating carbohydrates during this time of the month. So I can only assume that that is what it's from. Especially knowing how healthy I am and that I don't have any issues with my blood sugar or my insulin or anything like that. This was more of an experiment to see if I could lose fat, if I could sustain it for this long. I honestly thought I would fail after a first week. I've been going strong though, super dedicated. I haven't had any spices in my meats even. I haven't had any teas or anything besides water and coffee. And I'm only feeling negatively right now. I really would just love a waffle and some peanut butter and some syrup. So I did a very, very good job being very strict on carnivore for 30 whole days. 30 days for me seemed like an enormous amount of time. All right, so my first major symptom or side effect of the carnivore diet was my sense of smell. My sense of smell was crazy. It was so crazy. I could smell every food. I could smell every vegetable. I could smell everyone's breath. And it was so disgusting. It's not worth it for me to have a heightened sense of smell. I'm already a very sensitive person, and so that to me is a no-go. It also seemed to mess up my hormones. I had done a little bit of research as far as if people lose their periods or how it can affect hormones before I went on this 30-day journey, and there wasn't a whole lot of clarity. If anything, people were saying it helped regulate their hormones and it helped them get their period back after not having a period. So for somebody that might have PCOS, this might be a great alternative to you to help kind of balance out some of those hormones. For me, I am very regular on my menstrual cycle. I never have any issues, thankfully, and I kind of plan my life around my cycle, what I can eat, where I can go, you know, intimacy, all of those things. I plan around my cycle. And so after being carnivore for this 30-day period of time, I will say it has dramatically changed my cycle. I haven't had a cycle during this whole time. It's not something that I take lightly. It's a very good rhythm and a very good pattern in my life that I like to base a lot of my decisions around. And so for this 30-day period to kind of mess with that, kind of threw a wrench in my plans. And so I still have not gotten my period back. I'm usually very regular, like I said. So I'm hoping that as I introduce more carbs and get a little bit more back to normal, that my cycle will return and be as normal as it was, and no hiccups or anything like that. So anyways, I just thought I would mention that. So I know that it wasn't because of lack of nutrients or lack of calories. I was tracking for the first several days just to get an idea about what I was eating and if it was enough. Usually I'm in a calorie deficit just because I forget to eat or I don't plan correctly, and so I'm not getting in what I need on a daily basis. And so I'll kind of like fill up on one day and then kind of like not fill up on the next day and fill up on the next day, not on purpose, but that's just how I kind of have. And so eating consistently every single day, I know that it wasn't because of lack of calories or nutrition that I lost my period. So just be aware, if you are going to try this carnivore thing, that if you are very regular, it might throw a wrench into it. And so if you are like me and you plan kind of your life around just when that happens, just be aware that you might need to change your plans. But as far as if I think it's worth it, I could see it being beneficial for somebody who has really high levels of inflammation or some sort of autoimmune. Maybe somebody who is pre-diabetic or diabetic could benefit from something like this. Maybe somebody who has hormonal imbalances like PCOS or thyroid issues. I could see this being very beneficial for them. But for me, I didn't have any of those pre-existing conditions, thankfully, and I was more so just trying to see if my body would thrive on this type of diet plan, and it just didn't. It didn't. It wasn't worth it for me. It costed a lot more for me to feed myself than it did for me to feed my family, really. Like, I was buying meat like all the time. The amount of eggs that I went through was ridiculous. And in the end, it was not for me. But I am curious to know, those of you who are carnivore and who have done it for a longer period of time, what has your experience been like, and what has kept you on the carnivore diet? Was it because of underlying issues, like I had previously mentioned, that some people benefit from this diet, or is it just out of pure discipline? Is it because of protein needs? What was your reason for going carnivore, and have you been successful with your carnivore diet plan? I would love to hear like success stories, since I had kind of a rough go. But if anyone else has experienced anything like mine where you get the heightened sense of smell, let me know too, because I don't want to be the only one. I know I'm special, but I'm not that special. So I'd like to know what your guys' experience is, and if it worked for you. But until next time, thank you for joining in, and I'm so glad that you are here with me. Don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss my upcoming videos. And if you haven't tried the carnivore diet, I encourage you to try it. It might be a fun experiment. I double dog dare you.